Hello guys and welcome back to my channel for another weekly What I Watched. So we didn't watch too many in the last week, but let's get through what we did. So we've got the old Letterboxd here and we start off on the 17th with a movie that I've seen a lot of people review over the last week or so, and that is Sick. Okay, so this movie is set in the pandemic. I hear you rolling your eyes already. Yes, hear you because it's audible. I know we've had quite a few movies try to do this, but this does actually feel authentic. It's just set in the middle of the situation as a backdrop. It's not forced. The basic storyline here is we have a couple of friends that are going to isolate in a cabin together, have a bit of fun, have a bit of girl time, and all kicks off. Now, I've heard a lot of people describe this as like another Scream. It is by the same guy that brought us Scream, as far as I'm aware. This was a solid little horror. I'm not going to go into any more sort of storyline than that. What I did like about this is that decisions made by I suppose you'd want to say victim, the people we're following in the movie, are not stupid. We have intelligent decisions here. You're not going, oh my god, I can't believe you're not doing this, or I can't believe you are doing this. Usually we have, and it's usually females, running upstairs with someone behind them and no one to go, getting into a corner, getting into a wardrobe, something stupid. But the decisions in this are all pretty smart and the people are pretty capable, which is something that I did appreciate. Solid little movie. It's not anything ground-shattering. It's not anything you won't have seen before, but I did enjoy it, so that's Sick. I gave that a 3.5 out of 5. Okay, so the next one is called Through the Glass Darkly. This is actually listed on, was it on Prime, as a different title, which I'm not remembering right now, but it's on Letterboxd and IMDb as Through a Glass Darkly. This is based on a true story. A year after Charlie's daughter disappears, another girl from Elrod, right, it's something, I think it's called Disappearance from Elrod. It's got Elrod in the title. Georgia goes missing. Convinced there's a connection, Charlie draws suspicion and contempt from local law enforcement and townspeople as she stops at nothing to expose its most devastating and darkest secret. That sounds really interesting, especially as someone that's kind of obsessed with true crime. It was dull as dishwater. I couldn't get through it. I tried to concentrate. I tried to make my brain engage. It wasn't happening. I gave up in the end. I didn't finish it. If you have seen that movie and you think I haven't given it a chance and I should watch it, sometimes you're just not in the right mood for a particular movie. Maybe it was the case, but I just found this really boring. I gave it 1 out of 5 stars. The next, oh dear me. Right, I actually recorded a little bit of footage when I was watching this. It is very dark, I do apologise for that, but I did want my husband in the background so you wouldn't think it was Jealous Old Woman. So this is The Lair. This is by Neil Marshall, who brought us Dog Soldiers and The Descent. This is all I should need to tell you to make you excited to watch this, and it was all I needed to know. So let me give you the synopsis. Royal Air Force pilot Lieutenant Kate Sinclair is on her final flight mission when her jet is shot down over one of the most dangerous rebel strongholds in Afghanistan. She finds refuge in an abandoned underground bunker where deadly man-made creatures known as Ravagers, half human, half alien, and hungry for human flesh, are awakened. Sounds fantastic, doesn't it? It was not. I'm not going to go on a massive rant about this because I could be here all day. If I did individual reviews, you'd get more information about this. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen. I gave this 0.5 star out of 5 because it's the lowest score you can actually give something. The acting in this was abysmal, mainly from the lead female who actually co-wrote this. Is her name there? Charlotte Kirk. It was awful. You could tell she was acting, and badly. Everything was really stilted. Her movements even were not believable. Everything was like unnatural, not natural at all. The two main leads, her and I don't even know what the guy's name was, were just awful. A couple of the lesser characters that we didn't see much of were fine, but we spend this entire movie focusing on this pilot. Right, let me tell, oh. So this is an army situation and everyone is wearing army fatigues and flak jackets and hats, full protection, obviously, as you do. And I will use somebody else's expression. She's mincing about in a tight little vest with a low scallop neck and a few buttons, as tight as you can get. The trousers are tailored to be really tight. If you're in the UK, we had an Annika Rice going upstairs bum shot, if you remember the days of Challenge Annika. It was awful. And I'm not saying this, oh, jealous old woman fit attractive women on screen. It was laughable. She's in a war environment. somebody gives her a coat at one stage of the movie quite near the end, and I'm thinking, right, finally she's putting a flak jacket or something on. It was a tailored short cut off brown leather jacket. It's like, where did this come from? Why has someone got this in the army in the desert when they're all wearing the same thing? It was, and she had some necklace hanging around, and it wasn't dog tags. She had some necklace hung around her neck that was right down low. I'm thinking, well, that's a bloody hazard. It was laughable, it was ridiculous, and I could not believe that this woman, oh, and she had a wonder bra on, she had a push-up bra on. Her figure was just, it was like Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. It was completely unnatural, but I want to see strong women. I kind of feel like she wanted to be a Ripley. A Ripley she was not. Even though Ripley wandered about in her pants, I don't feel she was sexualized to the stupid degree that this woman was, because Ripley was badass. Ripley was just one of the lads. She was just fierce. This woman was not. The acting's terrible. It's not believable. I will say some of the practical effects were quite good in this. That's all I can give it. Everything else was abysmal. I'm going to insert the clip where me and my husband were mid-watching this so you can see what we thought. We're watching The Lair. I've had to put this on.
It's brilliant.
This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I've put this on because hang on, where's that button? I pause this. Because I wouldn't want to miss any of this immense movie. My husband's there. You can just about see him in the background. I've put this on because you'll think, I've said to him, I won't be able to say this because I'll be a bitter, twisted, old, jealous, fat woman. The woman that stars in this is the writer of this. This is by the director that brought us Dog Soldiers and The Descent, so I thought, oh, fantastic. It's called The Lair. The woman that wrote it is starring in it, and at the minute she is a pilot in the army. She is wearing a scalloped neck, which Darren knew I didn't. Basically a neck that comes really low on a really tight little top with buttons down. Army issue.
But after ejecting from a fighter jet, so she was actually flying in it in a war zone with combat songs that go right up crack of her ass, which can't be comfy sitting, never mind fly in plane.
And she's wearing a wonder bra.
She is.
It's either the best wonder bra I've ever seen or she's got fake boobs. Now, okay, fair enough, soldiers can have fake boobs. But this woman has written this, and she is, at the minute, one of only 2 women in it. The other woman I would have liked to have seen in the lead role. She was a believable female soldier.
Oh, Queen Latifah.
I'm sitting thinking, they give her the name Lafayette. I'm wondering if they like True Blood. So, I mean, I'm wondering if you're a female soldier watching this, how offended you are at the complete non-stereotype of having to sexualise the only female in it. She sat at the minute being treated on a bed.
In a hospital tent.
With her boobs shoved out and her bum shoved out.
And who else is in the hospital tent?
And there's a...
insurgent.
Just sat there.
In a hospital tent.
I can't...
What?
It's so bad, people. I'm going to have to watch the rest of it just so I can see how bad it gets. But honestly, I'm sat watching this and all I'm thinking is, any guys watching this right now, is it not insulting to men that watch horror movies that the writers, and this is a fucking woman that's written this, thinks that men can't watch a movie unless a woman's getting something off, out, sticking it in your face?
Well, they haven't got out yet.
They fucking may as well be out. Right, anyway. And I'm sure a lot of you will be going, what's this? Must go watch this.
Maybe she did get him out, and that's why that captain lost his eye.
Yeah, they've got a captain with one eye, and we're saying you wouldn't be allowed to serve in military combat with one eye. Anyway, let's get back to this. But Jesus Christ, this woman's acting is the worst I've ever seen.
London.
It's shocking. Anyway, I did that because I know when I tell you about this next week, you'll think she's just jealous. He's finding it funny that it's so fucking ridiculous. Right.
It's good.
I know you can't see him very well in the background, but...
I like the spawn suit that they bought from China for this.
Yeah, it's a creature feature and the creature leaves a lot to be desired. Right, I shall go back to watching this masterpiece.
Quick.
Okay, next is a movie called Repeat from 2021. I'm trying to remember, I think this is on Prime. This is an Amazon movie. So, the end is just the beginning. A zealous cognitive psychologist stumbles across an unbelievable discovery, a way of communicating with the other side. His joy is short-lived, however, as his daughter is put into potentially grave danger, and when all leads go cold, he takes matters into his own hands to find out the truth. Now, that synopsis sounds really good. and I'm pleased to tell you I really enjoyed this. I'm so used to saying that synopsis sounds really good and then the movie's terrible. This is like a little hidden gem to me. I really like this. It's a British movie. As I say, this couple's daughter has gone missing. He has found a way to communicate with the other side, but it requires very dangerous chemicals and it requires a ridiculous amount of power, and you can only do it in very short bursts, like 3 minutes. But this movie is kind of like a mystery to try and work out what happened to his daughter, where she is. You will not guess where this is going. I guarantee you. I was trying and had several different theories, a couple of which were right, but most of which was wrong. Really enjoyed this. If you haven't seen Repeat, it's from 2021, stars Tom England, Charlotte Ritchie, Nina Wadia, Ella Jean Wood. That's probably the main people in it. Check it out, guys. It's well worth a watch. Repeat. I gave that a 3.5 out of 5. Okay, next is 2 movies I watched last night, the first of which was called Shut In. This is from 2022, directed by DJ Caruso, and this one is on Prime also, I'm sure. So, the will to live is found within. A young single mother is held captive along with her 2 children by a violent ex and must plot their escape before it's too late. So, this is all set in one house, most of it set in one room, a little pantry. She is actually locked into this pantry by her ex, who is a drug addict, with his friend, who's also a drug addict and also has had some rather dodgy dealings with children. It's questionable. Is he a paedophile? He's not the sort you want to leave around your kids, let's put it that way. And the husband, ex-husband, in this like fueled like high that he's on, locks her into the pantry, and he puts 2x4s over the door and nails them shut, so she's stuck. She can't get out. So she's stuck in the position where she's in this pantry and her kid and her baby are outside. The little girl in this is amazing. I looked up afterwards, I couldn't believe how good she was. She's actually 5. She does look younger. She's riding about in a little trike. I think little dungarees and things they put on her make her look younger. But she is fabulous in this. So this woman has to try somehow, with nothing apart from like apple chutney that her grandma used to make in this pantry. She has to try and feed her child under this gap in the door past the food, and she has to try and get her very young daughter to try and care for her son, which he's maybe, I don't know, he's not even an age he can walk yet, so he's no older than 1. And there's always that tension. The guys go, but they do come back. She's stuck in there. She's also injured. I won't go into any detail about how that happens. But this movie is her fight to try and get out of this room, to try and protect her children from these guys. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well acted, very well shot, beautifully shot. Yes, it is mostly in the one room. There are stupid decisions in this that will make you, what the hell are you doing, woman? She wasn't quite as violent as I would have been. If somebody was a threat to my children, they would not be alive. If I had there were specific little things that she could have done that she didn't do, which was the only thing for this that's sort of like, she should have done this. But other than that, it's really well worth watching. I gave that a 3 out of 5. So that is Shut In, and it's a 2022 movie. So the last one last night that I watched in bed will maybe give you a little look into my psyche, and there's something not right with me. This is a rewatch. I often rewatch movies that I know I've seen, but I've forgotten most of what went on, and this was The Midnight Meat Train with none other than Vinnie Jones. If you're in the US and aren't aware, Vinnie Jones is a very famous English footballer, or soccer player, you would say, in the US. He's not anymore, he's obviously retired, but he got a break in filming with Guy Ritchie, you know, stuff like Lock, Stock and Snatch. He was in some of those, I'm not sure which ones. He doesn't speak a word in this entire movie, but his performance is brilliant. So I'm sure you're all aware of The Midnight Meat Train, but just in case you're not, it's a 2008 movie. Bradley Cooper's also in this. I'd forgotten that part. I knew The Midnight Meat Train had Vinnie Jones on a train and a lot of violence, and that's all I remembered. But when I saw Bradley Cooper, again, it's on Prime, on the poster, I'm like, oh, I could watch a bit of Bradley Cooper for an hour and a half, that'll do me. A photographer's obsessive pursuit of dark subject matter leads him into the path of a serial killer who stalks late-night commuters, ultimately butchering them in the most gruesome ways. Okay, so as I said, Bradley Cooper, Vinnie Jones, Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields? Oh my god, that was Brooke Shields. Right, I'm just discovering that now. So, Bradley Cooper's a photographer. He lives with his very beautiful fiancée, who's not Brooke Shields. And he wants to make it to the big time as a photographer. He gets introduced to a female, top of her game, art exhibitionist or artist, and she looks at his pictures and she says, you didn't take the photo at the right time. I don't want to see what happened then. I want to see what happened afterwards. You must be braver. And basically told him he has to be willing to put himself into dangerous situations in order to get the picture. She said, if you can bring me 3 shots, like one that he got at a later stage, which she's very impressed with, then I'll put you in my exhibition. So he sets out every night in the city to try and capture the heart of the city. And I don't mean that in a good respect. He's looking to capture nastiness. In the course of capturing some stuff, something happens, there's a death. He becomes obsessed by Vinnie Jones's character, the butcher. He actually works as a butcher in a meat processing plant. And he thinks there's something not right with this guy, and he follows him. And we find out what this guy's doing on the train, and a whole spiral sort of situation happens, of which I'm not going to tell you if you haven't seen it. This is extremely violent. I loved it. Some of the gore in this is a little bit comic book. We do have CGI blood in it. It's very stylized. It looks comic book in places, but then some other parts are just like, wow. The practical effects shown. There is a particular scene. I'm just going to tell you one little gore scene. If you don't want to hear it, it'll be no longer than about 10 seconds. He scoops out this guy's eyeballs when he's dead. And the actual everything about it looked so real. I was like, oh, this is grotesque, but this is wonderfully done. He like prepares the bodies when he's killed people by removing fingernails and things, and it's horrible. It's horrible, but wonderful if you're a horror fan and you enjoy watching how real things can look. This it's weird. We do have CGI blood. There are things that are stylized, but in the same respect, there are practical effects that are amazing. So you have to not be bothered by a lot of blood and gore, because this has it in spades, guys. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I liked the performances. I will happily watch Bradley Cooper paint a wall, do anything you like. I'll watch it. But he's brilliant in this. He is a fantastic actor. Okay, he's very easy on the eye, but he's a fantastic actor as well. Vinnie Jones is fabulous, despite not uttering one word for the entire movie. He's a very ominous, very imposing individual. He wears like a suit and tie, a full suit. Very sort of like Peaky Blinders kind of image this entire movie. I've never seen Peaky Blinders. I must watch it. So yeah, 2008 movie. Really, really enjoyed it. I would recommend to any of you that aren't easily disturbed by quite a bit of violence and gore. But yeah, Midnight Meat Train, I didn't rate that. I watched it in bed last night, so I wasn't on. I would actually rate that as a 4 out of 5. Not because that's the, okay, it's not like Oscar worthy, it's not like the most amazing movie you will ever see, but I personally loved it. It gave me everything I wanted. So 4 out of 5 from Midnight Meat Train from me. What have I been? Other than that, I've been watching a lot of paranormal stuff, guys. I spend a lot of time watching ghosty stuff, like these true things people say is a lot of rubbish. I enjoy them. Programs like where people survive really like horrendous situations and tell the story as to what happened and things like that. I enjoy that real life kind of thing. There's been no real true crime new stuff for me to get into, so there's none of that. I have been watching, obviously there's only 2 episodes out yet. I haven't seen episode 2 yet of The Last of Us. Episode 1 was fantastic. As an avid fan of both games, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing so far. They seem to have taken it quite slow, but that's a good thing. I have seen clips and trailer parts of the clickers, one of the like monsters, and oh my god, they've captured it amazingly well. So I can't wait to see a little bit more of that. And I think that's about all I've been watching, guys. I'm actually back into The Sims again. I've got God of War and I've left it because I haven't had that much time in an evening. I think for something like God of War, you need to have a few hours to properly... An hour's not enough to sit down and play God of War for me. So I'll do something silly like The Sims, because I enjoy building houses and growing plants and decorating the house and sending my sim out to work as a copper. At the minute, I'm a senior detective. I want to get to chief. So that's what I'm doing on an evening. But thank you, as always, for watching, guys. Your support is very much appreciated. I will have another video out later in the week from my my book, my filmography book, and the page it opened at this time randomly was my top romantic moments in movies, which is a hard one for me because I'm not a fan of romance movies, but I managed. I have recorded that already, and I will get that up and edited later in the week for your delectation. Thanks, as always, for watching, guys. Leave any comments below if you want to comment on anything I've seen, if you want to recommend anything to me. I will obviously say when I watch the movie that you've recommended it. So I will catch you guys next week. Overnight from Lisa Loves.